Today I'm going to be making a Drake cube. The plan here is I'm going to take a song by Drake and use the exact same sample that was used in that song. And using that Drake sample, I'm going to be making an original Drake beat out of that sample. And using that Drake beat that's using that Drake sample, I'm going to be throwing on some Drake vocals as well. So we have 3 dimensions of Drake happening here. A sort of Drake cube, if you will. So let's jump right into FL Studio. Here's a sample that I will be using that was used in Drake's song When to Say When. And of course, you guys know the policy. And by the way guys, if you do enjoy my videos, please do subscribe, and if you ever get tired of seeing my videos, it's just one click away to unsubscribe, but it really does help my channel out, so I'd really appreciate it. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is just throw this into Momentum, which is a free sampler that I just happen to like better than the ones that come with FL Studio. The first thing I'm going to do is just pitch this sample down. As it is right now, it has a lot of presence in the higher end and not much in the mid-range. So to get the sample to take up more of a useful frequency space in the beat, I'm going to pitch it down. Now this feels like it's going to fill up more of a space in my beat that the other instruments that I might choose later on might not fill, like the drums or the bass, which will result in a more well-rounded, fully balanced beat for what I have in mind here. Now when it comes to chopping up your samples, one of the things that I actually like to do, a little sampling technique that I'll show you guys here. Most people will chop on the transients like this, the larger spikes in volume, in order to get the full sound of each and every note. Something that I actually like to do from time to time is chop on each of the tails of the sound. That way you get far less of an intrusive sound and you get more of a unique type of tone or texture. So I'm going to continue to fiddle around with these chops and see if I can come up with a loop here. Alright, so I like this loop. It's very simple, it's very basic, it's not very melodic at all, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. This is just going to free me up to be a little bit more melodic with the other components in my beat, like for example the bass line. Speaking of which, I might as well add my bass in now. I'm going to open up Wave Candy on top of my sample to see what notes are actually playing. This is a really powerful tool that comes with FL Studio, so if you guys don't know what it is, hit the link right above my head where I made a video showing you guys how to use it. Alright, so now that I know which notes I should be using, I'm going to go ahead and come up with my bass line now. Alright, so this sounds like it works. It's pretty basic, but honestly, I don't want to get too complex with any of my elements really. I find in a lot of Drake's beats, there is sort of a simplicity and an openness to a lot of his beats, so I sort of want to do the exact same thing with this beat here. Before I start adding the other elements into my beat, I sort of want to work on my main loop a tiny bit more. I want it to fill up a little bit more room in the beat and also add some more effects so it's a little bit more unique. That way I won't have to throw in a bunch of additional melodies and counter melodies to fill this beat up. This is a concept that I showed you guys in my video a little while back on how to make your beats sound professional. So if you haven't seen that video, I really recommend checking it out if you have trouble making your beats sound a little bit more professional and a little bit less amateur. First up, I'm going to throw some EQ on top of the sound, get rid of the frequencies that I don't need, boost the ones that I do. If you guys remember in the beginning, I pitched the sample down so it's more in the mid-range, so I sort of want to boost some more of those frequencies as well to help try to make the sound's presence in this range a little bit more prominent. I'm also going to saturate the sound using Saturn here. This is an effect that I like to use whenever my loop doesn't sound as present as it can be. It doesn't sound as strong in the beat. I like to use this preset here, saturate and color, and you guys can hear the difference. I'll also throw on some reels just for personal taste. I just like the way this sounds. And I'm also going to throw some delay on top of the sound as well, just so it isn't as one-dimensional and it ends up feeling like it takes up a lot more room and a lot more space in the beat. Alright, so far so good. Let's go ahead and come up with the drums now. Again, in a lot of Drake's beats there is a simplicity to them, so I'm not going to go wild and crazy and add a bunch of stutters and rolls or anything like that. Just a simple hi-hat pattern here, nothing out of the ordinary. Again, there is a time to get wild and crazy with your hi-hat patterns, but again, I'm going to keep things simple here. be perfectly honest, this beat actually feels like it's in a pretty good place in terms of its overall balance, even as simple as it is here. But let's see what happens if I try to add an additional melodic layer on top. Alright, so this sounds pretty decent. I like the way it sounds. I might save this for a hook, for example, but honestly, I sort of like the way the beat sounded without this layer. There's a sort of basic simplicity to it. Like there's enough openness and space for it to be rapped on. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and start to prepare this beat out for some Drake raps. Alright, so I threw an acapella from another Drake song right down here. I'm not sure if I'll get demonetized if I mention what song it is. But let's just say as soon as you hear it, you're going to think to yourself, wow, my life is good. So let's take a listen.
This is fame, not clout. I don't even know what that's about. Watch your mouth. Baby got an ego twice the size of the crib. I can never tell it shit. Now it is what it is. Said what I had to and did what I did. Never turn my back on FBG, God forbid. Virgil got a paddock on my wrist, doing front flips. Giving you my number, but don't hit me on no dirt.
Alright, so I might as well send this beat off to Drake. I think that would be a good idea. I'm not sure what his email is though. I think there's probably like a 50-50 shot that this is his actual email. I'm gonna go ahead and write this email out. I do have a band-aid on my thumb, you guys can see, so I'm not very good at typing right now. Alright, so if I had to guess, I'll probably end up on Drake's next album. If you guys have enjoyed yourselves, like and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below which artist I should do the same thing to next. My free drum kit is available in the description box below as always, and a link to the Discord if you want your beats reviewed live. I do that every 2 weeks, and I'll see you guys next time.